Chapter 1. A Fresh Start. Millie came out of the jail. She was free now. She was a young woman, but she felt old in her heart. She had made a mistake in the past. She had paid for that mistake. Now she wanted a new life. She told herself, "I will not go back. I will move forward. This is my new beginning." She had no money. She had no home. She had no family waiting for her. She walked and thought about her future. Her heart said, "Do not give up. You must try. If you stop, you will lose everything." Millie started to look for work. She went to one place and asked. The man said no. She went to another place. The woman said no. She asked again and again. The answer was always the same. People did not trust her. She knew why. Her past was heavy. Her past followed her. She felt sad. She felt alone. But she said to herself, "One day I will find one chance." One afternoon, Millie saw a small notice. It said, "A family needs help. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of a child. Live in the house." Millie looked at the words again and again. She thought, "This is for me. I can do this." She called the number. Next day she went for the interview. A man opened the door. He looked at her and said, "You want to work?" Millie answered, "Yes. I can work hard. I only need one chance." The man called his wife. She came and looked at Millie. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Can you start soon?" Millie said, "Yes. I can start tomorrow." The wife said, "Good. We will try you." A little girl came into the room. She hid behind her mother. She looked at Millie. Millie smiled. The girl smiled back. Millie felt something warm inside. It was a small light in her heart. That night, Millie sat with her small notebook. She wrote simple words. "Today, I am free. Today, I got a chance. I will not waste it. I will work. I will stay strong. This is my new beginning." She closed the notebook. She held it close. She spoke softly to herself. "I will not lose again. I will not break again. I will stand. I will protect myself. And maybe this house will change my life." Millie lay down. Her eyes closed slowly. Her mind was full of thoughts. She asked herself, "What will happen tomorrow? What will I see in this new house?" She did not know the answer. But one thing was sure. Her new beginning had already started. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the hype button to support us. Chapter 2. The New Family. Millie woke up early. She looked at her small notebook. She read the words she wrote last night. "This is my new beginning." She closed the book and put it away. Then she left to start her first day at the new house. When she reached, the man opened the door again. He looked at her and said, "You are here on time." "Good." Millie nodded and answered, "I will always be on time." He smiled and said, "Come in. I will show you what to do." The wife came into the room. She looked at Millie from head to toe. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. She asked, Can you cook simple food? Millie said, Yes, I can cook. The wife asked, Can you clean every day? Millie said, Yes, I can clean. The wife asked, Can you help with our daughter? Millie said, Yes, I like children. The wife was quiet for a moment. Then she said, We will see. Do not forget, if you live here, you must follow our rules. Millie said softly, I will follow the rules. The little girl came again. She stood near the door. She looked at Millie with bright eyes. She asked in a soft voice, Are you going to live here now? Millie bent down a little and said, Yes, I will live here and help you. The girl smiled. She said, My name is Cecilia. What is your name? Millie said, My name is Millie. The girl whispered, I like your name. Millie felt happy when she heard that. The husband showed Millie her small room. He said, You can stay here. You will sleep here at night. Millie thanked him. She put her small bag on the chair. She had only a few clothes and her notebook. That was all. But she was not sad. She told herself, I do not need many things. I only need peace and work. After that, the wife gave Millie her first tasks. She said, Clean the floor, wash the plates, put the clothes in order. Millie worked quietly. She moved fast and did her best. The wife watched her and said nothing. Millie felt the wife's eyes on her all the time. Still, she kept working. She said in her heart, I must not stop. I must show them I can do this. Later, the wife called her again. She said, Take care of Cecilia for 1 hour. Millie said, Yes, I know some stories. The girl asked, Can you tell me one? Millie thought for a moment. Then she told a simple story she remembered from her childhood. It was about a bird who wanted to fly high. The girl listened with wide eyes. She laughed and clapped when the story ended. She said, Tell me another story tomorrow. Millie nodded. She said, Yes, I will tell you another one. When the wife came back, she asked Cecilia, Did Millie take care of you? The girl said, Yes. She told me a story. The wife looked at Millie for a moment. Then she said, Good. Keep her happy. The husband returned in the evening. He asked Millie, How was your first day? Millie said, It was good. I worked and I learned. He nodded and said, Good. Do not worry. If you work hard, you will be safe here. Millie smiled, but she also felt a little fear. She did not know why he used the word safe. She thought, Why did he say that? Is there something I do not know? That night, Millie sat in her room. She opened her notebook again. She wrote, Today I see Shan started in my new job. The wife is strict. The husband is quiet. The little girl is kind. I feel hope. But I also feel something strange. I cannot explain it. She closed the book and lay on her bed. She closed her eyes. She told herself, Tomorrow will be better. I will not think too much. But in her heart, a small question stayed. Why did the husband say safe? What is in this house that I cannot see yet? Millie turned to the side. She held her notebook close. She whispered to herself, I must stay strong. I must not fail. This is still my new beginning. I cannot lose it. She tried to sleep, but her thoughts did not stop. She saw the wife's sharp eyes. She heard the husband's words. She felt the small hand of Cecilia when the girl smiled at her. Thrard. 3 faces came again and again in her mind. The strict wife, the quiet husband, the sweet child. And she was now a part of their life. Millie asked herself one more time before sleep, what will happen to me in this family? She did not know the answer. She only knew that her story in this house had just started. Chapter 3. Strange Rules. Millie woke up early again. She wanted to show that she was serious. She wanted the family to trust her. She finished her work fast. She cleaned, she cooked, she folded clothes. She did everything the wife asked her to do. After some time, the wife called her. She looked at Millie and said, There are some rules in this house. You must follow them. Millie nodded quickly. She said, Yes, I will follow all rules. The wife spoke slowly. Rule number 1, never leave your work half done. If you start, you must finish. Millie nodded again. She said, Yes, I understand. The wife said, Rule number 2, do not go into rooms we do not allow. Millie felt a little strange, but she said, Yes, I will not go. The wife said, Rule number 3, at night you must stay in your room. The door will be closed. You must not come out. Millie looked at her in surprise. She asked softly, Closed from outside? The wife looked at her with sharp eyes and said, Yes, it is for order. It is for safety. Millie wanted to ask more, but she stayed quiet. She only said, Yes, I will stay in my room. Later, the husband spoke to her too. He said, My wife is strict. Do not take it in a wrong way. Follow her rules, and you will be fine. Millie smiled and said, Yes, I will listen. The husband added, Remember, it is important for everyone that the house is quiet and calm. Millie nodded again, but she felt a little confused. She thought in her heart, Why so many rules? What is the reason? In the afternoon, Millie was with Cecilia. The little girl whispered, Do you like it here? Millie said, Yes, I like to be here. Cecilia looked at her and said, Sometimes the rules are hard. Millie asked softly, What rules do you not like? Cecilia looked away and said, I do not like when doors are locked. I do not like when I cannot move free. Then she stayed quiet. Millie smiled at her and said, Do not worry. I am here now. I will tell you stories. Cecilia's face lit up. She said, Yes, tell me one story too. O'Day too. Millie told her another small story, and the girl laughed. When evening came, the wife asked Millie, Did you follow the rules today? Millie answered, Yes, I followed all. The wife said, Good. If you break one rule, you will not stay here. Do you understand? Millie said, Yes, I understand. That night, Millie went to her room. She sat on her bed. After some minutes, she heard a sound. The door was locked from outside. She touched the handle. It did not move. She sat back slowly. Her mind was full of questions. She said in her heart, "Why do they lock me in? Is it really for safety? Or is it for something else?" Millie opened her notebook. She wrote, "Today I learned the house rules. The wife is very strict. The husband says follow her. The little girl does not like the rules, and I do not like them too. The rule about the locked door makes me afraid. I do not know why it is needed, but I must stay calm. I must not show fear." She closed the book and lay down. She told herself, "Maybe I am thinking too much. Maybe this is just their way of life. I must not break any rule. I must not lose this job." But her heart was restless. She remembered the wife's sharp eyes. She remembered the husband's quiet voice. She remembered the little girl's sad words. Millie closed her eyes. She whispered, "I must be strong. I must not cry. I must not make mistakes." But deep inside, one question stayed. Why are these rules so strange? Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the hype button to support us. Chapter 4. Doubts. Millie tried to work hard every day. She followed the rules. She stayed quiet. She cleaned and cooked. She helped Cecilia. From outside, everything looked fine. But inside her heart, she started to feel heavy. She began to doubt the people around her. One morning, the wife spoke in a sharp voice. She said, "Millie, do not speak to the neighbors. Do not open the gate for anyone. Do not ask questions." Millie nodded and said, "Yes, I will not speak to them." But she thought in her heart, "Why can I not talk to anyone? Why so much control?" Later, the husband spoke to her. His voice was calm. He said, "Millie, I want to tell you something. My wife has some health problems. She is not always well. If she shouts at you, do not take it to heart. Just do your work and keep peace." Millie looked at him and said, "Yes, I understand." He gave a small smile and walked away. Millie felt more confused. She thought, who is telling the truth? The wife looks strict and strong, but the husband says she is weak. Who is right? In the afternoon, Millie was with Cecilia again. The little girl held her hand and whispered, "Do not believe everything you hear." Millie asked, "What do you mean?" Cecilia looked scared and said, "Sometimes people lie." Millie asked, "Who lies?" The girl shook her head and said, "I cannot say." She pressed Millie's hand and then ran away. Millie sat alone and thought about it. The wife said one thing. The husband said another thing. The child hinted something else. 3 voices. 3 stories. Which one was true? At night, Millie sat in her room. She opened her notebook. She wrote, "Today I feel lost. The wife told me to follow more rules. The husband told me she is sick. The little girl told me not to believe everything. My head is full of doubts. Who is honest? Who is dangerous?" She closed the notebook and lay on the bed. A few minutes later, she heard the sound of the lock again. The door was closed from outside. She felt her heart beat fast. She whispered to herself, "They say it is for safety, but maybe it is not. Maybe it is for control." The next day, the wife gave her more orders. She said, "Do not touch the big cupboard. Do not ask about my past." Millie said softly, "Yes, I will not." But inside, she asked herself, why is she hiding her past? Later, the husband came near her. He looked tired. He said, "You must not believe all my wife says. She imagines things. She is not stable. If she tells you bad stories about me, do not listen." Millie stood still. She did not reply. He put his hand on the chair and said, "Trust me, Millie. I will protect you." She only nodded, but her mind was not calm. In the evening, Cecilia again came close. She whispered, "My mom is afraid." Millie asked, "Afraid of what?" Cecilia shook her head. She said, "She will tell you one day." Then she ran away again. Millie felt weak. She wanted to know the truth, but she could not ask. She wanted to trust someone, but she could not decide who. She thought, the wife looks strict, but maybe she is a victim. The husband looks kind, but maybe he is dangerous. The child is innocent, but she knows more than she says. That night, Millie wrote in her notebook, "I do not know who to trust. Every word makes me doubt more. My heart is not calm. I want peace, but I feel danger. I want a new beginning, but I feel I may fall again." She put down the pen. She held her head. She whispered, "I must be careful. If I choose wrong, I will lose everything." Her eyes closed slowly, but her doubts stayed open. Chapter 5. The Truth Comes Out. Millie woke up with a heavy head. The doubts from last night were still inside her. She wanted answers. She wanted to know who was telling the truth. She wanted to know why this house felt so strange. That morning, the wife called her into the room. She looked at Millie and spoke in a low voice. She said, "Do not believe my husband. He smiles, but he is not kind. He wants control. He locks doors. He makes rules. He says I am sick, but I am not. He wants people to think I am weak." Millie listened quietly. The wife held her hand and said, "One day you will see the truth." Later, the husband came to Millie. His face was calm. His voice was soft. He said, "Do not believe my wife. She says many things that are not real. She does not know what is true. If she tells you I am dangerous, do not trust her. She is confused. She is not well." Millie listened, but she felt her chest grow tight. Millie went to her room in the afternoon. She sat on her bed. She thought again and again about the two voices. One voice said the husband was cruel. The other voice said the wife was sick. Both sounded sure, but both could not be true at the same time. In the evening, Millie went to check the cupboard, even when she was told not to. She felt afraid, but her hands moved. She wanted to know. She opened a drawer. Inside, she found papers. She looked at them. They were reports. They showed the wife had no illness. There was no proof of madness. The reports showed she was normal. Millie's heart jumped. She whispered, "Then why does he say she is sick?" That night she wrote in her notebook, "Today I found papers. The wife is not sick. The reports show she is fine. The husband lied. He wants me to think she is weak, but she is not." The wife was telling the truth. Suddenly, Millie felt a knock at her door. She hid the notebook quickly. The wife's voice came. She said, "Millie, are you awake?" Millie answered, "Yes." The wife whispered, "Did you find the papers?" Millie was shocked. As she asked, "How did you know?" The wife said, "I knew you would look. I wanted you to see the truth. My husband lies. He makes me look mad. He keeps me trapped. You must believe me now." Millie felt her hands shake. She said softly, "I believe you. I saw the proof." The wife whispered, "Good. Stay close to me. Do not trust him. One day we will need to act." Later that night, the door was locked again from outside. Millie sat in the dark. She held her notebook. She thought, "Now I know the truth. The husband is not kind. He is the one with control. The wife is not mad. She is the victim." Her mind was full of fear, but also full of fire. She whispered to herself, "I cannot run away. I cannot give up. I must help. But how? What can I do?" The truth was clear now. But what to do with that truth was still a question. Chapter 6. A Dangerous Plan. Millie could not sleep. She now knew the truth. The wife was not sick. The husband was lying. He was the one who locked doors. He was the one who wanted control. Millie lay on her bed and thought, "I must do something. If I stay quiet, nothing will change." The next morning, the wife called her. She closed the door and spoke in a low voice. She said, "Millie, now you see the truth. You know what he does to me. You must help me." Millie whispered back, "Yes, I will help you. But how?" The wife looked at her and said, "We need a plan. It must be careful. It must be secret. If he finds out, we will be in danger." Millie felt her hands shake. She said, "What can we do? He is strong. He has all control." The wife said, "Control can break if two people stand together. You are young. You are brave. You can move. I am not alone now." Millie took a deep breath and said, "Tell me what to do." The wife leaned close and said, "First, watch him. Learn his habits. Know when he leaves. Know when he sleeps. Second, keep Cecilia safe. She must not know too much. She is only a child. Third, wait for the right time. Then we will act." Millie nodded slowly. She said, "I will do it." That afternoon, Millie played with Cecilia. The little girl whispered, "You look worried." Millie smiled a little and said, "I am fine. I am just thinking." Cecilia looked at her with wide eyes. She said, "Be careful. My father does not like when people think too much." Millie froze for a moment. She asked, "Cecilia, do you trust me?" The girl nodded and said, Yes, I do. Millie held her hand tight and said, Then stay close to me. In the evening, the husband came home. He looked at Millie and said, Are you doing well? Millie smiled and said, Yes, I am fine. He looked at her for a long time. Then he said, Good. Remember, you are safe here. Millie's heart beat fast when she heard that word safe again. She thought, safe does not mean safe. Safe means trapped. That night, Millie wrote in her notebook, Today, I agreed to help the wife. We will make a plan. I will watch him. I will wait for the time. But my heart is afraid. What if he finds out? What if he locks me forever? But I cannot run. I must stand. The next day she started her work with new eyes. She watched the husband carefully. She saw how he moved, how he spoke, when he left, when he came back. She noticed that he left the house in the morning for some hours. She thought, maybe that is the time. She also saw that at night he checked every room. He locked her door last. She thought, he wants full control until the very end of the day. The wife came to her in the afternoon. She asked, Did you see anything? Millie said, Yes. He leaves in the morning. He locks us at night. The wife nodded and said, Good. Watch more. Soon the time will come. Millie felt the weight of danger. She said, What if we fail? The wife looked straight at her and said, If we fail, we lose everything. But if we never try, we will always be prisoners. Do you want to live like this forever? Millie shook her head. She said, No, I want freedom. The wife said, Then be strong. Trust me. That night Millie could not stop thinking. Her heart was full of fear, but her heart was also full of fire. She whispered to herself, This is dangerous. But this is the only way. I will not run. I will not give up. Together we will fight. Together we will win. Chapter 7. The Final Move. Millie woke up with a strong heart. She had lived in the house for many days. She had followed all the rules. She had seen many strange things. Now she knew the truth. She knew the husband was not kind. She knew he locked doors, made rules, and lied. She knew the wife was not sick. She knew the child was afraid. And now, she and the wife had a plan. The wife came close to her in the morning. She said, Millie, today is the day. We cannot wait longer. If we wait, he will grow more strong. Millie felt fear in her chest. She asked, Are you sure? The wife said, Yes, I am sure. We will do it today. Millie nodded. She said, Then I am ready. All day, Millie worked with calm hands but a storm in her heart. She cooked. She cleaned. She told a story to Cecilia. But inside she was waiting for the moment. She was waiting for the time when the husband would leave the house. She thought again and again, we must not fail. In the afternoon, the husband left. He said, I will be back in 2 hours. Do your work. Do not make noise. He walked away. The wife looked at Millie with strong eyes. She said, Now. We start now. Millie followed her to the big cupboard. The wife opened it and showed her more papers. She whispered, "These are more proofs. He keeps everything here. He wants to control my life, my money, my name. We must take them." Millie picked up the papers with shaking hands. She asked, "What do we do with them?" The wife said, "Hide them. Keep them safe. One day, we will show the truth." Millie hid the papers in her room. Her heart beat fast. She thought, if he finds this, it is over. But she stayed strong. She whispered to herself, "This is our fight." Later the wife said, "We must prepare for night. He will lock your door again. He will think you are inside. But tonight you will not stay inside." Millie asked, "How?" "He locks from outside." The wife smiled a little. She said, "I have a key. He does not know. I kept it safe for years. Tonight I give it to you." Millie took the key. She felt the weight in her hand. She said, "This is dangerous." The wife said, "Yes, but it is the only way. Tonight you must not sleep. When he locks your door, wait. After some minutes, open it. Come to me. Together we will act." Evening came. The husband returned. He looked at Millie and asked, "Did you work well today?" Millie smiled and said, "Yes, everything is fine." He nodded and said, "Good. Remember, you are safe here." His words made Millie's heart cold. She thought, safe means trapped. Safe means prison. But she did not show her fear. She kept her face calm. At night, Millie sat in her room. She held the key in her hand. She listened. She heard the sound of steps. She heard the sound of the lock. The door was closed from outside. She waited. Her heart beat fast. She counted minutes in her head. Then she put the key in the lock. She turned it slowly. The sound was soft, but in her ears it was loud like thunder. The door opened. She stepped out. She moved to the wife's room. The wife was waiting. She whispered, "Good, you did it. Now listen. We will not run tonight. We will not fight him tonight. We will only take one step. We will hide the proofs far from this house. We will make a path for tomorrow." Millie nodded. She said, "Yes, I understand." They both walked quietly. They moved like shadows. They hid the papers in a small box outside the house. Then they came back before the husband could wake. Millie locked her door again from inside. She lay on the bed. She whispered, "This is the final move." Morning came. The husband looked calm. He did not know. He said, "Good morning, Millie." She smiled and said, "Good morning." But in her heart she thought, "You do not know. Your control is breaking. Your lies will end." That afternoon the wife told Millie, "We did well. Now we have the proofs safe. Soon he will lose his power. We will be free." Millie felt a strong fire in her chest. She said, "I was afraid, but I am not afraid now. I will stand with you. That night, Millie wrote in her notebook. She wrote, "Tonight I opened the lock. Tonight I stepped into danger. Tonight I started the final move. I am not only a maid. I am not only a girl with a past. I am stronger now. I will not let fear win. Tomorrow will bring change." Millie closed the book. She looked at the key in her hand. She whispered to herself, "This is not the end. This is only the step before the end. The final move has begun." Chapter 8. A Safe Life. Millie opened her eyes early. She lay on her bed and held her notebook close. She had written many words in it in the last weeks. Fear, doubt, truth, plan. Now one more word came to her mind. End. Today was the end. She told herself, "I will not hide anymore. I will not live in fear. I will stand." She got up and went to work like always. She cooked, she cleaned, she helped Cecilia. On the outside, she looked calm. On the inside, her heart was full of fire. She thought, "This is my last day of silence. From tonight, everything will change." The husband walked into the room. He looked at her and asked, "Are you ready with the food?" Millie said, "Yes, it is ready." He smiled, but his eyes were hard. He said, "Good. I like order. Remember, peace comes from rules." Millie nodded, but she said in her heart, "Peace does not come from fear. Peace comes from truth." Later, the wife came near her. She whispered, "Millie, be strong. Today we finish it. Tonight we show him." Millie whispered back, "Yes, I am ready, but my hands are shaking." The wife touched her arm and said, "Fear is normal, but courage is to act even when you are afraid. We will act tonight." Millie played with Cecilia in the afternoon. The girl asked, "Why do you look so serious?" Millie smiled and said, "Because I am thinking." Cecilia asked, "Thinking about what?" Millie said, "Thinking about tomorrow." Cecilia laughed. She said, "You think too much." Millie hugged her gently. She whispered, "One day, you will know. One day, you will understand." Evening came. The husband returned. He looked at them with sharp eyes. He said, "Why are you both quiet today?" The wife looked at him and said, "Because tonight we will speak." He laughed loudly. He said, "Speak? What can you say? You are weak. You are confused. Nobody believes you." Millie stepped forward. She said, "That is not true. We believe each other, and I have seen the truth." The husband turned to her. He said, "You? You are nothing. You came from jail. You have no palm. Where?" Millie felt her body shake, but she stood tall. She said, "Yes, I was in jail. Yes, I had nothing. But now I am not weak. I saw the papers. I saw the truth. Your wife is not sick. You lied. You made her look weak. But she is strong. She is not alone now." The wife stood beside her. she said. You locked me. You told the world I was sick. You made me a prisoner in my own house. But today I stand. Today I say no. Today I say I am free, the husband shouted. You cannot do this. I made rules for peace. I made rules to protect this house, Millie shouted back. No, you made rules to control us. You locked doors to show power. You told lies to hide truth. That is not peace. That is fear. And fear ends tonight. He stepped closer. His face was red with anger. He said, You will regret this. Millie held her ground. She said, No, we will not. We have the papers. We have the key. We have the truth. You cannot lock me again. You cannot call her sick again. Your game is over. The wife's voice was strong. She said, We are not afraid now. You cannot break us. You cannot win. The husband looked at both of them. He saw they were not weak anymore. He saw their eyes full of fire. His body shook. He sat down. His voice broke. He said, You have ruined me. Millie took Cecilia's hand. The girl asked, What happened? Millie whispered. The truth came out. We are safe now. The girl smiled, though she did not fully understand. But she felt peace. She felt the room was lighter. That night the door was not locked. Millie sat in her room with her notebook. She wrote slowly. Today was the end of lies. Today was the end of fear. The wife is free. The child is free. I am free. I will not live as a prisoner again. I will not hide again. I have a safe life now. She closed the book. She thought about her past. She thought about the jail, about the empty days, about the pain. She whispered, That was my old life. This is my new life. I am not the same girl anymore. I am stronger. Next morning, the wife came to her. She said, Thank you, Millie. You stood with me when no one else did. Millie said, We stood together. That is why we won. Cecilia hugged Millie and said, You will not leave us, right? Millie smiled and said, No, I will stay. I will protect you. I will make this house safe. Millie wrote one last line in her notebook. She wrote, I was lost, but I am found. I was weak, but now I am strong. I was afraid, but now I am safe. This is my life now. A safe life. She closed the notebook and put it away. She did not need to write more. Her story was no longer about fear. It was about hope. It was about truth. It was about a safe life that she had made with her own courage. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the hype button to support us.